BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina.
Good day, everyone. This is Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, Winterville, North Carolina, broadcasting out of Greenville, North Carolina. You're tuned into the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Our topic of discussion, if you will, is on saving money. For the past couple of weeks, we've been doing our topic on U.S. currency and all the changes related to the U.S. currency, Social Security, and the IRS. So we figured it would be best to advise or give out information as to how to save money with all these changes. So I'd like to issue a brief disclaimer before I give it over to my co-host, Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. The information we're going to share with you today is readily available online. I also have the documents. If you would like to receive copies of any of the documents, don't hesitate to email me at Glenn, Glenn, Johnson Show at gmail.com. Once again, the information we're going to share with you today is just for your knowledge, information, and education and knowledge. So if you would seek any or like to do anything according to the document we have, I would advise you to consult with a professional in the field that deals with saving money or currency in general. So my co-host, Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams, researched a very important document, Four Ages of Financial Wisdom found in biblical literature. I thought that was rather interesting. We're going to begin with that document with Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today, we are glad to be here on today. Hey, Dr. Glenn, we're hearing a little bit of an echo, and I'm wondering if it's on our broadcast there on the radio. So if any one of our listeners can call in today and just let us know if you hear that echo and see if there's something we can look and see if there's something we can do to get it fixed on this end. But I can definitely hear it, and I'm wondering
Yeah.
if it's being broadcasted out. But hey,
I
God
don't, I
bless
don't
you.
know. I don't
We,
know. I don't hear it in this station's audio, so maybe not.
okay, maybe it's not then. But hey, we're glad that you tuned in on today. And as Dr. Glenn said, we are talking about financial wisdom on today. And so we want you to have some cues and some good hints and some good things to be able to look at. You know, in the time that we're living in, there's a lot of cuts being made, there's a lot of job loss, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of fear and turmoil and confusion that is going on around. And people are just uncertain. And so having financial wisdom And finding ways to save, finding ways to save money, finding ways to do better with your finances is always good. Sometimes you may have not had to look at it before, but in this season and this time now, you have to look at it. Oh, yeah. So we want to make sure that we give you some good things on today, that you'll be able to look at it. Oh, and I want to say too, in this time where the government is very much so mistrusted, there's a lot of people that don't trust our government now because of some of the cuts and some of the things and some of the shifts that we see the government going through. So, hey, it's best to start looking at your own finances and start making sure that you are looking at how you could save money, ways that you could do better, habits you can cut out, and things that you can work with your finances to be in a better financial standing. Dr. Glenn?
I hate to tell you this, but you mentioned about people don't trust our government. I really don't trust them now after what I just found out 2 days ago. I was just explaining this to somebody before I came in the station. In New York City, or in New York, let's just say New York, well, but around the city of New York, there's Staten Island, there's Rikers Island, there's Long Island, and then there's the shore of Long Island. Around that area, there's an island called Plum Island. They had put it under military control at one time and renamed it Fort Terry. Plum Island, they were doing animal research on various viruses, foot and mouth disease, and a lot of things that was going on in the United States. And so I'm just going to be brief on this. The island itself is still there. People in the public sector try to take control of it, but they won't allow that. They want to keep it under government control or federal or state control. But they still having animals shipped in from all over the world to do animal testing, Plum Island in New York. You have got to be kidding me. There's a video on YouTube about it. I'm looking at the video. They showed, it is very, very graphic. They showed how these two creatures washed up on shore. They thought they were dogs, but they've been mutated. So they look like a dog, but look like something else with like 1,000 teeth in their mouth. You have got to see this video. And so, the government always secretive about stuff, always having stuff on the security clearance, the highest security clearance there is, particularly in government, is when something is classified. And that Plum Island is classified.
Oh, Dr. Glenn, I am sure that there probably is a lot of things that are undercover and being hidden concerning our government, and I'm not surprised. I'm hoping that those weapons, they're using them or they're trying to get them used for other countries. But then, where things are now, we don't know. And the very same thing that we're assuming is being developed as a weapon to fight in other countries could be used right here on our own people here.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't trust the government anymore.
Yeah. Like when this whole thing with weapons of mass destruction took place, and they went over there, bombed all them people looking for this, looking for that. They looking for weapons of mass destruction. They didn't even find a firecracker.
Well, and we don't have to reach back that far, Dr. Glenn. We could go to COVID because, the government was pressing everybody to get those shots, and now you don't even have to have them. And then there are people that didn't even get them, and, they were saying that you wouldn't die if you got the shot. There were more people, I believe, that died that got the shot versus the people that didn't have it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I thought I was going to die because when I first got the vaccine, then there was up in arms about whether you should get 2 virus shots at one time. Like, for instance, when I got the first COVID shot, I got my flu shot with it. And let me tell you something, I will never, ever do that again. You don't know how sick I was. I thought I was going to die because of that. Now they tell me, you shouldn't have never did that. I said, but yeah, some of your people told me I should or I could, and I did it. But I regret doing it. So if you ever have to take a virus, don't get another injection or or some kind of shot along with it. Like you might suffer the same thing I went through.
Oh, yes, Dr. Glenn. So, we saw it with that. There's a lot of mistrust that, at least for myself, I'm just speaking for me. Everybody might not feel the same way, but I never got COVID and I never got the shots. And I was around a lot of people. I was around a lot of children that had it over and over and over again. And my husband got the shot and he had COVID at least 3 or 4 times. I
Really.
didn't get any shots and I never had it.
And he had the shot. He had the boost.
He
He had
had
the
the shot.
vaccine.
Yeah, he had the vaccine, but I didn't take it. And I'm telling you, I was face to face in in touch with the mucus and things from people that had it, and I didn't get it.
By the grace of God, he's still alive.
That's right.
And
That's right.
including myself. So we have 50 seconds before we go to the break. We definitely want to get back to the main topic, saving money. So after we come from the break, we're gonna stay positive and bring forward the information we have for you on saving money. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Yes, we want to invite you, if you want to today, to call in. You could be right here live on the air with us. And the phone number to call in is 252-756-2008. Again, you can call in at 252-756-2008, and you'd be live right on the air with us. And you'll be able to add in some things here to the topic that we're talking to today, and we would love to hear from you on today. Dr. Glenn and I will be elated if you would call in. Hey, we're going out on a break, and we will be right back in a moment. This is Awesome Radio, the Dr. Glenn Show.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Emmaus Travels and Transport, your trusted partner in transportation for over 20 years. At Emmaus Travels and Transport, we meet all your transportation needs reliably and professionally. Our services include, but are not limited to, wheelchair accessible and special needs transportation, airport transfers, medical appointments, personal and custom transport requests. We proudly employ only top-tier drivers with clean driving records and background checks. Safety is our top priority, and we utilize cutting-edge vehicle technology to ensure a smooth and secure ride every time. Whether you're seeking dependable transportation or looking to join our team, we invite you to contact us today at 252-412-3169. Again, that is 252-412-3169. That is Emmaus Travels and Transport, driven by care, powered by excellence.
Hello, my name is Dr. Wiley Nifong. Thank you for listening to Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. As I mentioned earlier, our topic of discussion is saving money. My disclaimer today is, should you seek to research or look through some of the documents that I have available, if you will email me, I will forward them to you. But be advised that this is for information and educational and for your knowledge only. So I would prefer that you consult with a professional in the field of our discussion of today. One thing I want to point out is the document that Apostle researched on the 4 H's of financial wisdom found in biblical literature. So what are those four H's? Number 1, heart. I'm not going to read what the scriptures. I'll let Apostle do that. Number 1, heart. Number 2, health. Number 3, habits. And number 4, hope. Apostle, would you give us your commentary on that, please?
Yes, so the 4 H is heart, health, habits, and hope. And this is talking about these particular elements and how you view or how you operate concerning your finances through your heart, through health, through habits, and through hope. It has a lot to do with how you are spending, your spending habits, how and what you are buying, how your outlook on finances for now and for the future, and what you are doing and how you're operating with things concerning your money. Money is so important, and it is so important to know how and how you perceive money. You know, a lot of times how you grew up has a lot to do with how you're doing and you're dealing with money right now. It can have a lot to do with how your outlook on money, how your parents raised you, how their mindset was on money. A lot of things we don't realize were passed down to us from generation to generation. And we might not realize that even though these things were passed down to us, it doesn't mean that we have to still operate in the way that our parents do. We should grow bigger, we should grow wiser, we can grow stronger. And the good things that they taught us, we can build upon them and also build something greater and something bigger. You know, I'm not saying that everything that our parents did was wrong, but you know, everything needs to grow.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying is, although they taught us all these different things, all these values and ideals, we should be able to adapt to the changes to fit our current needs.
That's right, because we're not living in the day and time that they were living in. We're living in a right now time, Dr. Glenn. You're
Apostle,
right.
I'm sorry, yeah, what I was going to say was, because I had muted my mic, I just got it back unmuted. So what you were saying essentially is, although our parents and our ancestors told us these various things, ideals and ideas and stuff, we should adapt to changes to make it more suitable for our current needs and issues, correct?
Definitely, Dr. Glenn. And I'm just going to say this as we're going back to this document, but I remember a lot of people's grandparents, and especially the females, their aunts and great aunts, they would take that money and put it down in their bosom, down in their, they had it down in their bra. That's how they saved their money, and they kept their money. You know, went and asked them for some money, they dig in there and get that napkin or handkerchief that was tied up with that money, and they'll unball that money and give it to you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the way we need to save money. Dr. Glenn, I'm inclined to think there were some thieves around those ladies, and they were making sure that you couldn't get them, but you wasn't going to be able to get them in there.
You know it was. We have 5 minutes remaining for this particular segment. Apostl, let's play that audio clip on the document that we have in front of us about the 4 H's.
Hello, I'd like to introduce to you a new tool that we have developed for pastors and counselors, really anybody who is mentoring somebody and that person has questions about their finances. We call this tool our 4 H's of financial wisdom. And it's one page, front and back, and it's a simple tool that just uses 4 H's to describe what the Bible says about how we should relate to money. It focuses on your heart, your health, your habits, and your hope. Now, the front side of the paper is simply a listing of Bible verses and principles that we learn from Scripture about how we relate to our money. But I want to encourage you, before you go through this front page with somebody, you start on the back page. The back part of this tool is a personal assessment that you can walk somebody through, and it can tell you how they are feeling about their own finances, both from a number standpoint, but also from just an emotional standpoint. We start off with your heart, and we ask 4 questions about how you are relating to money. And if you understand that all of your behavior follows after your belief. And so in order to understand that, we have to get a real deep heart connection. So we look at stewardship, we look at contentment, we look at faith and wisdom. And it's a simple scale, 1 to 5, where people can assess how they do in each of those 4 quadrants. For instance, in stewardship, it asks, do I behave as a steward of my possessions by holding them with an open hand? And someone can assess how they're feeling on that. Then we move to the health. And this is what we call budgeting, really without a budget. Because what it enables you to do is get a real quick snapshot of that person's finances and see where they are today, and then help them make a plan to change their edges of the wedges if they want to make changes. So all you need to do is know how much money you make, and then everyone should know how much money they give, how much they pay in taxes, how much debt they pay, and how much they save. And when you know those 5 things, your income, and you subtract those 4 pieces of the pie, you can find your lifestyle. And so you can look at the percentages and you can make changes as needed. And then we move to the habits section, and we say, how are you doing following biblical habits in your financial life? Are you spending less than you earn? Are you avoiding the use of debt? Are you giving generously? Do you set long-term goals and do you plan for financial margin? And you can see how they're doing in each of those areas and help them make a plan to move forward. And then finally, we look at hope. And what we believe about hope is that without margin, it's really impossible or very difficult to plan for the future and to plan to follow the goals and objectives that God has given you. And so hope is an assessment of where people are with the margin in their finances. So whether they make a lot or they make a little, the key ingredient is how much room they have left at the end of the month. And so this tool helps them assess that. Anyway, I would encourage you to check out this tool. Look at what it says on the front, but then walk people through the back of it. And I believe it'll help you and them be able to better understand what God says about money and then move in an exciting direction of where He's calling them.
Okay, that was the audio clip on the 4 H's. We have 2 minutes to go before we go to the next break. Then we'll be back with our final 30 minutes of today's broadcast. So I probably will play that audio clip again at the end of the broadcast before we end the show. Apostl, do you have anything further?
Yes, Dr. Glenn, and I really love this particular teaching, the way that it breaks it down, or these particular documents. It kind of breaks it down, and we're going to look at those questions and just ask them out today and just expound on the questions that are here. Do you believe that God owns it all? You know, there's a lot of people that have faith in their job. They believe. And again, we talked about the government. That's why so many people are upset, because they believe that the government is the one that's giving them the money or in charge of it, when the truth of the matter is that God owns it all. You know, the Bible says the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell within. Not only is the earth God's, but the people that dwell in the earth are His as well. You belong to Him, and everything else that is created here belongs to Him. You know that only God could look after this earth and make it rain where it needs to, and bring the sun out, making sure that we've always had green grass and trees here and things that we need to be sustained on the earth. And so, Dr. Glenn, we're getting ready to go out on our break here. I'm so glad that you helped me with the echo. It's no longer on my side, and now I feel like I need to run and I need to talk.
I hear you.
So we're getting ready to go out on our break. Again, I want to say, if you want to call, you can call in at 252-756-2008, and you can be live right on the air with us. If you have some wisdom keys and tips for people that they may be valued in this hour and in this time, you can call in, and we'd love to hear what you have to say at this time. We would enjoy hearing from you on today. We're going to go and continue these tips. Hey, this is Awesome Radio and Dr. Motivations with Glenn. We will be right back with you in a moment.
I am Miss Mary Cox. I'm Killer Thigpen's mother from Awesome Radio.
Can a Christian landlord only rent to other Christians? Stay tuned.
Legal advice you must not ignore. All ahead on today's Legal Alert. Here's attorney David Gibbs Jr.
Tanya and her husband were financially blessed enough that they purchased an investment property they planned to rent out. They were curious if they were able to advertise it strictly as rentable to fellow Christians. So they called our lawyers at the Christian Law Association. Our attorneys understood and appreciated their idea, but explained that if the house was being rented for profit, they would be subject to anti-discrimination laws that would prevent them from choosing tenants based on religious alone. If they wanted the house to be a ministry and not an investment, they could rent it as a different house story. They would be able to put any restrictions on a belief that they pleased. But as a money-making tool, Tanya and her husband needed to be cautious. In America, if you're going to rent property, know the rights and the motive for owning the property.
That's attorney David Gibbs Jr. of the Christian Law Association. Visit our website for legal brochures, our e-alert newsletter, publication catalog, and more. Find us at christianlaw.org. That's christianlaw.org.
We're back. You're listening to The Glenn Johnson Show. You can reach Glenn at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostl Jacqueline Cullins Williams. As I mentioned, we have reached our final 30 minutes of today's broadcast, so we're going to go right through some of the documents because I want to bring forth to you as much as I can. So we might have to do a part 2 on money challenges, but we might have one of them today. But I would like Apostl to go to the document K-State Research and Extension. This is a financially thriving 2025 from Kansas State University Agriculture Experiment Station and Cooperation Extension. Apostl, you have that document?
Dr. Glenn, I do not.
There you go. K-State.
Do not have it
See
there.
right here.
Okay.
All right, we're going to get to that document right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Financially thrive in 2025. And it says, one trend that is gaining popularity on social media is spending less in 2025. This is a great financial goal. If this is a resolution that speaks to your heart, here are some practical steps to help you achieve it. Number one is define why you want to spend less. Why do you want to spend less? And that's a good question. Why do people want to save money?
Yeah.
Why do you need to save money? A lot of times growing up and even as an adult, the thing that we thought about with saving money was about having, my grandmother said, put up a dry stick for a rainy day. Have a dry stick for a rainy day. So they more or less meant that they wanted you to put the money up in case there was an emergency.
Yeah.
And so money was just saved or something put away in case of an emergency, which is really good. You know, a lot of times people get into an emergency and they have to reach out to other people because they've not put up anything. Like my grandmother said, put up that dry stick for the rainy day. They've not put anything away to try to save anything for an emergency. That something comes up, somebody's sick, you got to get up, you have to move, you have to go someplace or do something or just go. Sometimes you just have to be present and you're going to need money to travel or money to get there. And that's why you do need to have a little bit of something saved on the side. Define why you want. It says save for a vacation, build an emergency fund, pay off debt, set a specific saving target and timeline and create a budget. Track your income, expenses, and allocate funds to essential categories, rent, utilities, groceries first. Limit discretionary spending, like entertainment, dining out, subscriptions. And I want to say, if you want to save money, you're definitely going to have to sometimes, especially, I mean, Dr. Glenn, sometimes people are looking, and in this day and time right now, it's a struggle to save money or to even try to make it from month to month or to try to make it from point A to point B during the month. A lot of times people can't even, they don't even have, they feel like they can't make it, you know, to the end of the month and pay their normal bills, that alone be able to save money. But what I want to say is a lot of times people are not looking at the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is a lot of times people buy what they want. They get whatever it is that they want. If there's something they want to eat, they want to go out to eat. Something they want to wear, they go buy it. They're getting their hair done. They're getting their nails done. They're eating out. They're driving the most expensive vehicles and living in the most expensive places or wherever they want to do, whatever they want to do, and going and doing what their hearts desire.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're going to have to cut something back in order to save. You know, if you look at it, and I used to give this definition when I was teaching in the church, and the definition that I often use for poverty or poverty mindset was you buy what you want, but beg for what you need. You know, people will buy what they want. Oh, I got to have this. I have to have this, and I have to have it this way. You know, some people will only buy name brand mayonnaise. They won't buy no name brand gravy in the store. They won't buy no name brand clothes. They have to, when it comes time for people to see them, they have to be in name brand or the latest outfit or the latest this or the latest that. When all of those things don't even matter if you don't have any savings. And then if you're living at home, you dress to death. This is another thing, Dr. Glenn, my grandmother used to say. She say, a lot of these people is nothing to them. They be dressed to death out here, and you follow them home, and their house is dirty and raggedy.
That's right.
If you
But-
live in dirty and raggedy, your furniture, your house, and everything, and then you dress to death whenever people see you. Dr. Glenn?
When you mentioned name brand, I just thought of something. And I stopped this years ago. I would no longer wear anything with somebody else's name on it. You know, I don't care who you are and what you did, what you accomplished. Why should I spend all my money while you make money? And everybody in the country do that. That's what makes these people rich, from wearing stuff with their name on it. Who are you? I'd stop wearing anything with somebody else's name on it. Wear something with my name on it. You know what I mean? Even like television. Why should I subscribe to this when I can watch this for free? I don't like subscriptions for stuff to support somebody. So these are some of the things you have to look at. Why do that? Why support somebody that you have no realistically or physical connection with in the first place? Why?
That's right.
my question. Why?
I can understand that, Dr. Glenn, putting somebody else's name on you, and you are sitting up there you've never met that person, and you just walking around, you don't know how they're living their life or what's going on with those people, but yet you're wearing their clothes there. You know, I saw something about one particular brand, Dr. Glenn, and they said the people were racist. And now you're wearing the clothes. I can't see it. I can't see it. I don't understand it.
I will say this. So some of our celebrities or ball players, all right, you're wearing their gear that has their name on it. So you're helping them generate money. They're making them a lot of money, a ton of money. They are millionaires. Some are billionaires. But the ones I support, even if I don't wear their name on anything, the ones that I support is the ones that give it back, helping the community. Like there have been so many celebrities or ball players to open up schools. That's one of the most important things. Some open up movie theaters. You go on and on and on. They have lavish lifestyles. They have lavish houses. I'm talking about $1 million houses and stuff. For what? Why have $3 million houses? You can only sleep in one.
That's right. And then just wasteful with a lot of things, extravagance, and we're still helping them build.
Yeah. And one other thing I'm going to say about that, when it's time for them to relinquish the property, sell the property, nobody wants to buy because it's too customized to buy it. So the house might sit on the market for an undetermined amount of time because nobody wants to purchase it. And then if they do, it's so high in price, the only people that can purchase it is somebody with the same stature, a millionaire or billionaire. And they still might get it for the asking price. It still might go down in value because they just can't afford it and they don't want to pay for something that is customized to somebody else.
That's right. And sometimes these people get their all
It's like an autograph. You buy something with an autograph on it. You can't tell a person, well, look, make it out to Judy or make it out to Sam. That's personalized. Now, it's decreased in value because it's personalized. The only person that can purchase it is somebody, Sam or Judy. But if the person just signed it, now that's an autograph. It could be valued at an undisclosed amount of money because it's not personalized.
Definitely, Dr. Glenn. So I understand what you're saying there. One of the other things that it said here was, it said reduce non-essentials.
Yeah.
And look, it said here, streaming services. So wait, it's going in a lot of touchy subjects that people are not going to like to hear about. They can cut out in order to save money.
But the streaming service is one that's what I'm still talking about. So if it's a streaming service, more than likely it's a subscription. You have to cut out some of these subscriptions that's doing you no good.
Oh yeah, but TV.
Back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome Radio.
Keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show. With a call to discipleship, this is KP Yohannan with your GFA Minute.
Over 1 billion people live in starvation, in poverty. Yeah, we hear those kind of statements, but it don't really touches us. Well, think about taking a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days without eating anything. Just drink some water. Also, not clear water, clean water, but tap water, and see how you feel. This is the reality of thousands of it. Be grateful for God as possible. And
Minute.org.
Hello, my name is Tracy, and you're listening to Awesome Radio 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU Radio. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. This is Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. You are tuned into the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivation with Glenn, all happening now. Well, as we were going out to the break, Apostl and myself were just talking about streaming services. And I said, well, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Streaming services, if you have a streaming service, it probably requires a subscription. And that's what you want to get away from, all these subscriptions. Do you realize? And that's why a lot of things now with subscription, I will not subscribe to. Number one is when they make Microsoft Office subscription. Whereas before, you paid one price. Got your Microsoft Office disk. You can put it on a number of computers that you wanted to. With the subscription, you have to subscribe to it, pay an annual fee, and it's probably only for one computer. So I don't know why they did that, but I know why. There were a lot of people stealing or downloading all that stuff for free. But don't you think if people can get it for free, they're going to get it for free as opposed to paying for it?
Definitely. No one is going to want to pay for something. And then that's how it is. When you get something, you hook up your buddies. Some of the networks, that's exactly what was happening with the streaming services. You had a number to sign in, you gave it to other people, they would sign in too. So a lot of things sure that you can't share it. But there are some free streaming apps and different things there. And Dr. Glenn, while we were on break, said, go get yourself one of those old antennas and put it up at your house. And I'm saying there's not a lot on the regular TV anymore. Most things have kind of went to this digital age. I don't even know how to use the regular TV. I mean, maybe maybe you got to unplug everything and make sure there's no Wi-Fi going to it or something. I don't know. But I don't know how to use the regular TV.
All right, but I got a smart TV with Roku, and this is not an endorsement or advertisement for YouTube, but if you have a login, all the programs that's probably on broadcast television and cable.
Definitely, there are a lot of things on that particular app, but Dr. Glenn, you also got to have Wi-Fi. You're going to pay somewhere to get it. You're not just able to go in and sign into YouTube. You got to have Wi-Fi.
You gotta have Wi-Fi,
so there's still a streaming service. You're going to pay something somewhere, even for the fun, free things like YouTube.
Not unless you go sit in a parking lot with a facility that has free Wi-Fi.
Well, there are definitely some.
Because I had to do that one time when I was doing internet radio, and my internet was down at the house. I'm having an hour.
That is definitely one of them. And some of the other fast food restaurants, they have Wi-Fi for free. You can go there. When COVID was there and the kids were home, our Wi-Fi was out and I had to use it and go there and use it for my grandchild who needed to do her schoolwork and get on the Wi-Fi.
But I hated to say that, but I wanted to make that so I could make this reference to that. So after I broadcast for an entire hour on my online radio show, I went up to the counter. I even told the manager what I had did. I said, sir, you would not believe I just did an entire 1 hour radio broadcast sitting right there eating a Whopper. I mean, a Big Mac, because it was McDonald's. He said, oh, thank you for the information, sir. I got out of there.
Oh, yeah, and it is. It's great to have those places that is giving it for free, just in case your internet is down. One of the other things it says here is gym memberships. Now, I don't know if we want to be canceling all the gym memberships, but if you're trying to save money, you can exercise at home. You can get there and get your own treadmill, or you can get your 2 feet on the ground and begin to walk and begin to do some things and make your own little gym at home. Get some weights. Go buy some little hand weights.
Yeah, that's true because I haven't had a gym membership since the 80s.
Or buy some videos, and use the videos over and over again. They, in some of the particular stores, big store chains, they have it where you can go in there and buy exercise videos. And so you could take that and put it on the DVD player, or even, as Dr. Glenn said, on YouTube, because we're to use that name. I'll use it again. There are videos on there that you could exercise to and just do it right there in your own home.
Now, let me tell you this. I might be making this up, I don't think I am. And you have mentioned gym membership. The reason why I cancel my gym memberships, like I said, I haven't had one since the 80s, the late 80s. Because I went by the gym one day, I looked, I got really hurt.
Dr. Glenn, they can be valuable. I've had them in the past, and I have had them in this season too, as well. I just and over in it'd be useful, so you don't have to go outside in the heat, or you walk long distances. Some of them have indoor equipment and track that you could be inside in the cool and not outside. My biggest issue, Dr. Glenn, with being outside is people with their stray dogs and animals. You walk